Flick to link, a link to flick.
I want to tell you a story about a girl, but I can't tell you her real name. So let's just call her Hadiza. Hadiza is 20. She's shy, but she has a beautiful smile that lights up her face. But she's in constant pain, and she will likely be on medication for the rest of her life. Do you want to know why? Hadiza is a Chibok girl. And on April 14, 2014, she was kidnapped by Boko Haram terrorists. She managed to escape, though, by jumping off the truck that was carrying the girls. But when she landed, she broke both her legs, and she had to crawl on her tummy to hide in the bushes. She told me she was terrified that Boko Haram would come back for her. She was one of 57 girls who would escape by jumping off trucks that day. The story quite rightly caused ripples around the world. People like Michelle Obama, Malala, and others lent their voices in protest. And at about the same time, I was living in London at the time. I was sent from London to Abuja to cover the World Economic Forum that Nigeria was hosting for the first time. But when we arrived, it was clear that there was only one story in town. We put the government under pressure. We asked tough questions about what they were doing to bring these girls back. Understandably, they weren't too happy with our line of questioning. And let's just say we received our fair share of alternative facts. Influential Nigerians were telling us at the time that we were naive, we didn't understand the political situation in Nigeria. But they also told us that the story of the Chibok girls was a hoax. Sadly, this hoax narrative has persisted, and there are still people in Nigeria today who believe that the Chibok girls were never kidnapped. Yet, I was talking to people like these, devastated parents who told us that on the day that Boko Haram kidnapped their daughters, they ran into the Sambisa forest after the trucks carrying their daughters. They were armed with machetes, but they were forced to turn back because Boko Haram had guns. For 2 years, inevitably, the news agenda moved on, and for 2 years, we didn't hear much about the Chibok girls. Everyone presumed they were dead. But in April last year, I was able to obtain this video. This is a still from the video that Boko Haram filmed as proof of life. And through a source, I obtained this video. But before I could publish it, I had to travel to the northeast of Nigeria to talk to the parents, to verify it. I didn't have to wait too long for confirmation. One of the mothers, when she watched the video, told me that if she could have reached into the laptop and pulled out her child from the laptop, she would have done so. For those of you who are parents like myself in the audience, you can only imagine the anguish that that mother felt. This video would go on to kickstart negotiation talks with Boko Haram. And a Nigerian senator told me that because of this video, they entered into those talks because they had long presumed that the Chibok girls were dead. 21 girls were freed in October last year. Sadly, nearly 200 of them still remain missing. I must confess that I have not been a dispassionate observer covering this story. I am furious when I think about the wasted opportunities to rescue these girls. I'm furious when I think about what the parents have told me, that if these were daughters of the rich and the powerful, they would have been found much earlier. And I'm furious that the hoax narrative, I firmly believe, caused a delay, was part of the reason for the delay in their return. This illustrates to me the deadly danger of fake news. So what can we do about it? There are some very smart people, smart engineers at Google and Facebook who are trying to use technology to stop the spread of fake news. But beyond that, I think everybody here, you and I, we have a role to play in that. We are the ones who share the content. We are the ones who share the stories online. In this day and age, we're all publishers. And we have responsibility. In my job as a journalist, I check, I verify. I trust my gut, but I ask tough questions. Why is this person telling me the story? What do they have to gain by sharing this information? Do they have a hidden agenda? I really believe that we must all start to ask tougher questions of information that we discover online. Research shows that some of us don't even read beyond headlines before we share stories. Who here has done that? I know I have. But what if we stop taking information that we discover at face value? What if we stop to think about the consequence of the information that we pass on and its potential to incite violence or hatred? What if we stop to think about the real-life consequences of the information that we share? Thank you very much for listening.
Flick to link, link to flick. My photo taste is the Pinterest because they are the best.
Hi, I'm Tim, and this is my pronunciation workshop. Here, I'm going to show you how English is really spoken. Come on, let's go inside. This week, I'm going to need some help from my favourite twin. Please welcome back Tom, who's going to help me present. Hi, Tom. Hi, Tim. Now, are you a lover or a fighter? Do you prefer to dance, or would you rather have an argument? There's an expression in English that contains the name of a dance, and it means when two people get involved in a fight or argument, then in most cases, both have to take some of the responsibility. Do you know the expression? Well, let's ask the people of London.
It takes two to tango. It takes two to tango. It takes two to tango.
It takes two to tango.
It takes two to tango. Lot of T's in that, Tim. Lot of T's indeed, Tom. 5, in fact. It takes two to tango. But are all of these usually pronounced? Can you hear all of them? Listen again.
It takes two to tango. It takes two to tango. It takes two to tango.
It takes two to tango.
You might remember from a previous video that when the sound t comes in between two consonants, we don't usually pronounce it. But what happens if there's a vowel sound before the t, and the next word also begins with t? Well, in this case, the two t sounds join together to create one slightly stronger t. So, it takes two becomes it takes two. This is an example of twinning or gemination. Here are some more examples.
It took him 20 years to get to the top.
You don't have to cheat to pass the test.
You were right to be upset. We took the overnight train to Venice.
Right, so you've heard the examples, and now it's your turn. You know the drill. Listen and repeat.
It took him 20 years to get to the top.
You don't have to cheat to pass the test.
You were right to be upset. We took the overnight train to Venice.
Well done. Now remember, if you want to learn more about pronunciation, then please visit our website, bbclearningenglish.com. And that is about it from the pronunciation workshop for this week. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for all your hard work, Tom. No problem. You're the best, Tim. Hey, thanks. You're great too. was that all
Hey,
about?
you started it.
No, I didn't. Yes, you did. Well, maybe a little bit. I guess that just goes to prove it takes two to tango.
Podcast from bbclearningenglish.com. For more information, visit our website. Frankenstein. Episode 9. Scientist Victor Frankenstein gets married.
Hello. I'm scientist Victor Frankenstein. And I'm here in the Arctic, the end of the Earth, because I'm looking for the creature which destroyed my happiness. The last time I was happy was with Elizabeth. Our wedding day was coming.
Let me check the guest list again. How many guests have we planned earlier, Mr. Frankenstein?
There were 60 the last time I counted, dear Elizabeth.
Is the house big enough for all our guests?
Yes, it is, my darling. Invite more people. Let's have a banquet and plenty of good wine.
How much wine shall we order? 200 bottles too many?
No! I'll pay for it all gladly. Nothing's too expensive for my dear son and his bride. Let's all drink and be merry. It'll be a wedding nobody will ever forget. Are you happy, my dear?
Oh, I'm very happy.
It's very cold here. Well, Elizabeth and I got married on a warm day. There was a lot of catching up with friends. Elizabeth looked so pretty. But I was worried. I got used to walking around with a gun in my pocket. The threat by the creature was very much alive in my mind.
I'll have my revenge. I'll be with you on your wedding night.
I didn't give the monster a bride, so it said it would destroy my life. It killed my best friend, Henry. My brother, William, and his nanny, Justine, was blamed for the boy's murder. And now, it was coming after me. This was in my thoughts when we arrived for our honeymoon at the house we rented by the side of Lake Como in Italy. It was raining heavily.
It's a pity we have to close the windows. The view of the lake is fantastic.
Yes, but I'm sure the rain won't last. Why don't you go to the bedroom, my darling?
Aren't you coming? What are you looking for, dear Victor?
I just want to make sure that everything is all right and we are safe. I'll go as soon as I do that, my sweet Elizabeth.
Are you expecting someone?
No. Darling wife, go, and I'll join you as soon as I can. I don't want anything to worry you. I was indeed expecting something to happen. A battle to the death between me and the creature. I didn't care if it was too strong for me. I had enough hate in my heart to defeat the monster. I just didn't want Elizabeth to see the fight. I left the house with my gun and decided to walk around to check if it was there. But all of a sudden, a scream! Elizabeth! Elizabeth! My dear Elizabeth, my beloved wife. hate you! I hate you with all my heart! My Elizabeth! William, Justine, Henry, and now Elizabeth. There was nothing else for me and for my father. As soon as he heard that my wife was killed on our wedding night, he fell ill and died heartbroken. And all because of me. I'd thought about telling Elizabeth that I had created a monster, but there wasn't enough time. After her death, I tried to warn others, and I was put in a hospital for a while. Nobody believed me. So I decided to put an end to the problem I had created, and find the creature at once. The world is not big enough for both of us.
The world is not enough.
I'm still looking for it.
Bond, not shake.
I might find it next time.
This is a podcast from bbclearningenglish.com. For more information, visit our website.
Flick to link, link to flick.
I want to tell you a story about a girl